Hello, world. Oh my goodness.
Whoa, nice internet.
Hi. Here we are on the internet. Look at us.
Yeah, different
Welcome,
version of
welcome
being on the
all
internet.
to the very first observable live stream in history. It's a momentous occasion. Thank you for being here with us. My name is Anjana Vakil. I'm a developer advocate here at Observable, and I'm here with my colleague Visnu. Visnu, want to introduce yourself real quick?
Hi, Visnu, engineer here at Observable. Yeah,
Awesome.
building stuff.
Awesome. So we're here. We're starting this stream because we thought it would be fun to have a good place for us all to code and work with data and explore things like data and visualizations and graphics and all kinds of cool stuff in observable notebooks. So hopefully folks are familiar with Observable a little bit. Observablehq.com. You can read all about it. These notebooks made up of little JavaScript cells that we're going to be using to today explore some city budget data. So yeah, we'll drop some links to the data and some of the resources that we're going to be using in the chat. But in the meantime, just want to welcome everyone and remind everybody that this is sort of meant to be a learning positive, really welcoming space. So we're asking everybody to adhere to the Observable Code of Conduct, which you can find on our website. And I'm just going to drop in the chat right now. And please, please be respectful of everybody, and please remember that we're all here to learn and grow, and everybody is at different stages of that journey, including us, including myself. So I am a total neophyte with data visualization and working with data. Visnu has more experience than me, but we're both going to be just sort of exploring and seeing where we get today. And what we're going to be working on is looking at some data from the city of San Francisco, which has this open data portal that has some really interesting data sets around the city and what goes on in it. And in this case, the city budget. So we have been thinking, I think, a lot. I don't know, Visnu, if I speak for you, but I think we've been thinking a lot about budgets. And the budget in San Francisco is currently under review. And there's a lot of discussion around it in the context of, looking into the police and police budgets and how that's all working and what funds could be used for. So we thought it'd be interesting to look into it. Visnu, is there anything in particular you're curious about with the budget today?
I mean, just the obvious ones of what's in it, how big is it, what actually happens. Because again, being a resident of San Francisco for so long, I really don't know.
Same. I haven't ever looked at this actual data. I read, what's written about it in the newspapers and stuff like that. But it's another thing entirely when you can actually get your hands on it. So it's nice that the controller's office has made this all available at the link I just dropped in the chat. And so what we're going to do is we're going to try to, first of all, get this data into a notebook and so that we can look at it. And then I think we're going to later try to drop it into some charts using Vega-Lite. Visnu knows a ton about Vega-Lite because he wrote this whole series on using Observable for Vega-Lite. So Visnu, could you tell us in 2 words, what is Vega-Lite?
Vega-Lite to me, it's a rapid charting library. I call it charting library, but it's a little bit more than that. It's built on top of V3. It follows kind of the idea of grammar graphics. So it's about encoding channels and encoding your data into a visualization. So it's maybe a little different from maybe Chart.js or Plot, all those where you're thinking very much in the terms of a chart. And it's more in how do you take your data and map it to things on the screen that will also be a chart, but in a more generic sense.
Awesome. It looks like we're getting that Visnu's a little quiet. Let me try to turn you up a little bit. Visnu, can we just get a little mic check? 1, 2, 1, 2.
Hello.
Is that any better, folks? All right, we'll see if we can adjust. Maybe, I don't know, Visnu, if you have any settings on your side to turn your gain up a little bit. But things are maxed out over here. Otherwise, we'll just have to ask you to shout.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. Okay, great. So Vega-Lite, I like I'm not a data viz expert, but I like Vega-Lite because it's kind of a little bit quicker and simpler to get some just like a simple chart up on the screen than D3 for me as a person who does not know enough about this stuff. So that's the plan. We're going to be diving into this budget data with Observable and Vega-Lite. So without further ado, shall we go for it?
Budget data.
Budget data. Okay, how do we do it? I've got a notebook here. We're in this notebook, Exploring City Budget Data. We'll share, we'll publish it and share afterwards. How do we get this in? Let's see.
Let's get the data.
So, okay, I'm on this data SF page. I notice there's this API link here. So it's offering it to me in JSON, but I think maybe we want to use CSV.
Either. Let's do JSON. Let's roll with the JSON this time.
JSON? Okay. Yeah, is there like a difference in using the two formats? Like, is one better than the other?
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty similar. I tend to think of CSV as more compact and like, it's also friendlier to, I think, across non-JavaScript. So like JSON, of course, is JavaScript object notation. So it's like very much tied to JavaScript and it's very natural for JavaScript. CSV, you can use it everywhere. So like Python, R, all those things is where you want to use CSV. The only reason why now I'm slightly wanting to go to JSON again is the typing. I don't want to deal with like trying to figure out what's a number and what's not if it happens to not work out initially. Whereas JSON shouldn't have that problem.
Gotcha. Okay, so let's get this endpoint to this data set. And I'm just gonna stick it in here as like a URL value, just so we can refer to it later.
AJ Piano's here. Hi, AJ.
Sorry?
Oh,
no,
nothing.
Hi.
Adam Sontag. I'm reading through chat a little bit.
Okay, sounds like folks are still having a little bit trouble hearing you. So if you could, I don't know if you can get any closer to your mic or just speak up a little bit.
Let's turn this all. I'm cranking it all the way up. We'll see what that means.
Turn it up to 11. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got this URL, and now how can we pull in this data from the URL? Should I be using like a library to do this?
I mean, we can use D3 fetch is maybe what I would reach for. You can also just use fetch straight up.
So I kind of like D3 fetch because it's like it gives you, it's just there's like a few less things you have to type, a few less dot method, whatever. So this is just D3 minus fetch, right?
Yep.
So I'm going to require it. I'm going to call that D3 because it's kind of like a subset of D3. And then here I get all of these little convenience methods, like one for CSV if I were doing that, one for JSON, et cetera, et cetera. Yep. So now let's, and this is where you're going to have to help me sort of figure this out. If I want to pull in the data, is it as simple as doing D3 JSON URL?
Yep.
Well, that seems too good to be true. Ooh, look at this.
Yeah,
okay, and now we have 1,000 things.
Right, and it's definitely larger than 1,000.
And so, okay, so this is just like probably the first page of the data or something like that. But let's just take a look at one of these. So we've got some like the fiscal year, the department, blah, blah, blah. Okay, we'll pour into this a little bit later, but probably if this is only 1,000 things, that's not going to be giving us the full picture of like past years and whatnot. How should we handle this?
Looking on their site, and it does have a limit and a offset.
Okay, where are we looking? In the API docs here, or?
Yeah, the API docs.
Let's check that out. Yeah. This is, I guess, this is running on this Socrata thing, which I've seen on a few other, like municipal and government type things are hosted on. Let's see. So, okay.
Search for limit. Like a dollar limit.
No. Oh, okay. So I can do this in jQuery. Ooh, goodness. I'm not finding the.
Let me find it also. Go here.
Paging through data. That seems like a good thing. Here we go. Query parameter dollar limit.
Yep. So there's dollar limit goes up to 50,000. This is still bigger than 50,000. So off the other page, it says that it is 224,000 rows. And then there's offset though. So offset is index. So we have to page through the data and to get all of it.
Okay. Okay, so first things first, let's maybe try to increase that limit.
Yep.
So should I do that? I'll just add on stuff to the URL here.
Yeah, that's fine.
So I can use this. I'm going to put it in a template literal and then use my little $curlies syntax to make that work. But can I still use a $literal inside of the template literal? I don't actually know.
Yeah,
Let's see.
yeah. As long as you don't follow it with like the bracket, and then even if you did, you could backslash it. But,
okay.
Yeah,
cool. Okay, so does this look right? We'll just max out the limit here.
You need a question mark.
Oh, good call. Good call. Good call.
Yeah. And then that should give us 50,000.
And then it's like so observable is implicitly awaiting this promise.
Yep.
This is why it took a second to come back, but now I have 50,000 things, so that's better. But that's still only one page. So how should we go about? Now we got to do the offset. So I think we're gonna need some kind of loop here.
Yeah.
You want to navigate me through it? Should we put this? Let's put this in a little code block.
Yep. Sounds great. Here's a page. Is there a risk of, sorry, I was reading through the chat.
Yeah.
Banana Hamster has always wondered, is there a risk of taking down a city server because this notebook issues a data request every time it's loaded? I am slightly worried about that. I wouldn't worry about city servers. It's definitely more of the, as we like ran through Socrata or something. So some for-profit slightly entity, I think, is in the middle there that does host this data. And so you could worry about them and how much they're being paid by the city to host the data, which maybe we'll find out if we look at this data. But they probably do a decent job of making sure it's cached and that things are coming from pretty fast things. But yes, I mean, it is 200,000 rows. It's like probably megabytes every single time. And then we're kind of just pointing at those. There's also API limits, I think, but I don't know what those happen to be right now.
Yeah, I would imagine that if, like, let's say, like, 1 million people open this notebook at the same time, and they're getting just, like, a ton of requests from our kind of origin, like, that we would just get rate limited, and certain, like, the notebooks would start getting rate limit errors. I don't know.
Probably.
That would be my guess. So, and again, yeah, and so hopefully they've got, but it seems like they've got a pretty good setup with this Socrata thing, so I'm sure that they have some kind of built-in protections around that.
Yep.
Good question, though. It's good. It's all good questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
So paging through. So we're going to tweak the offset thing that we're going to pass this, I think, and then we're going to want to fetch multiple pages until we run out, I think.
Okay, so here we're going to do like an offset equals something. Should we make like an offset variable?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, so let me do like a offset equal 0 at first, right?
Yep.
Okay, want to navigate me through the rest of this?
Yeah, so I mean, we could return that immediately just to make sure we still get the 50,000 initial rows.
Cool. Do I need to await this now?
No. It's still gonna return its promise, and then
observable.
The outer still gonna.
Yeah. Okay.
We're about to need to await it inside of here.
Gotcha. Yeah. But so since it's just the return value, observable, so like, oh, this is a promise, and then automatically awaits it in the cell.
Yep.
Okay. I just want to make sure that this was not the exact. Let's just make sure this still works. Okay. Cool. Put that back. Boom. Yeah. Go ahead.
We could do this a cheating way, since we know exactly how many rows of data there are, or we could do this like a more general way.
Oh, do we know exactly how many rows of data there are? I don't. But if you do.
I know there's gonna be. Well, yeah.
Oh, it's like in the docs.
Just below this. That's views down
224.
a little bit. Yeah, it's 224.
That's a lot.
So like, we know that we would fetch like 5 times and be done. But let's just write it the better way. So
okay.
We can either append, we can put it onto a thing. Let's just add, I don't know, throw a new array called pages probably.
Okay.
That we can push onto.
So instead of returning, we're gonna do.
Eventually, we're gonna return pages.flat probably is what we'll
We're going to return what? Sorry.
We can return pages, but we also want to flatten it, which there's a fancy function that is new-ish. I don't know how old it is.
Or did I mess
It's
up
called
these?
dot flat.
All right, I think this is wrong, right? Now I need to await this first.
Now you need to await that.
Yeah,
yep.
okay. And
return pages.
Return pages.
We want dot flat is really the best one, but we also return pages.
Flat? Is this a new? I don't know this one yet. Is it a method?
It flattens an array. Yeah,
cool.
a method. It just
fancy.
Takes the array and flattens it. I think it flattens it fully recursively, or maybe one level. I'm not sure. We could play around and find out.
Flatception.
Really
okay, well, we'll have to read up on that later. Okay. This seems to still work. And, I'm just gonna do another little check here to make sure that it's still okay. Still working. All right, now we need to just get more pages.
Yep. So I would just do like while true and break.
While true.
Which is a little scary.
Always fun. Good ways to break. Should we do maybe should we do while offset is less than a certain thing? Just
so I would the way I normally would write this would be while true, and then just at the bottom of the while just add a break that isn't conditional.
Okay.
So that it's always just doing it once, and then I figure out exactly when I want to break. You could do it where
I just have to remember not to accidentally press Shift Enter before.
Yeah. Before you add the break.
Before we add the break. Okay, so I'm just gonna put that there just for my own comfort. And then we're gonna do if.
And then you can just run that again and feel fine. So I wouldn't even add the if yet. I wouldn't add the if yet. Like this is
okay.
And this is a little personal thing.
I didn't.
How I end up writing it. It's a little weird maybe, but I kind of like to just write it this way. So one thing I do is I always do all this stuff very, very incrementally now, of constantly reevaluating all these cells. And so I want to get back to a well-evaluated state as quickly as possible. So I would exactly write this code where it's just while true break to make sure I don't infinitely loop.
You would write it this way, or you would not?
Yeah. I personally would write it this way. Yeah. There's maybe arguably better ways to write it where you don't have the true up in that while, where it's what will be in this if block right around the break. So that's personally while true makes me a little nervous, especially in Observable, because it's it's so easy to just out of force of habit press Shift Enter and run the code. So anyway, but we've got the break now, so. Okay, so we want to do if. So here we want to pull a page out. So it's const page equals await that. And then, so basically break this up and have a page variable that we can look at the length on.
Okay, so this will be our. Page equals this thing? Is this what you have in mind?
Yep.
And then we'll be pushing the page.
Yep. And then here's where I'm thinking about. So it's if page.length is 0 is when you want to break. But okay, don't run that.
Wait, if it's 0 or if it's just. I'm just wondering, the last one will be less than 50,000 theoretically. Not necessarily. Never mind. Ignore me.
You could do either. So to me, it's either you make that last request, see the 0, and then stop, or you can if it's not a full page, which I think is kind of fine too. So
but I mean, who knows? If it lands perfectly on that multiple of 50,000, that's not going to work that well. So anyway, okay. So if page length is greater than 0, then we break, but we probably also don't. Well, I guess we can push the empty array because it'll flatten. So whatever.
Yeah, we need to change offset as we go.
Right. Otherwise, yes, exactly.
This is now where we get into some iffy.
And then, so if we get past here, then we want to do offset plus.
Plus equal pages or page.length. So offset's
everywhere. Got it. Okay. Got it. Okay, I was thinking, no, that doesn't make any sense. All right, cool. So.
So if page.length. So I think it's if page length is 0, then. So basically, once you get an empty page.
This is what happens when you're trying to multitask. Okay, if the page length is 0 or negative. No, just kidding. Right. Okay. Oh, yay, we've got
I'm
folks
pretty sure
from
this is right.
Germany coming into the stream. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, by the way, we're like I'm like so like eager to jump in all this code. I'm not even asking where y'all are coming in from. Where's everybody dialing in from? Would love to hear. But yeah, we were hoping this time slot works pretty okay, but we'll change it up as we go to make sure we can get all of our friends around the world accommodated. So yeah, okay. So now we've got, let me just review what we're doing. We're grabbing, starting from 0, we're grabbing one page at a time, where pages are 50,000 rows in length. And we're pushing those onto this array, which is going to accumulate all of our stuff. And when we finally get a request back that has no data in it, we're going to stop this loop. And meanwhile, every time we go through this loop, we are changing the offset to be like multiples of 50,000 or what have you. I think page length is always going to be 50,000 until the last one here. And that is how we're going to pull in this whole data set. This seems like, I don't know, like, well, first of all, is this right? Is that what I said right?
Pretty sure it's right. I'm pretty sure if you run it, I'm highly confident this will work.
Let's see what happens. I might crash my whole browser and computer, in which case we'll be back soon, folks. But
Oh yeah.
oh, okay. All right. It's running, but still seems responsive, so that's good. This is probably
Okay,
gonna.
now I'm questioning it.
Uh-oh.
Wait, page length is 0. Break if that. We can also just do.
Oh,
You know.
22.4 thousand, right? That sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, 224,000. Yeah, had the
Rounding up.
Cool.
I think we're
Look
good.
at all this data. I'm like afraid to open this array. Is it too big to open? Live coding
no,
is hard. Success! Woohoo! Yay! Well, but Observable will just truncate it it'll just show me the first 20, right? Yeah, okay,
we'll
cool.
Okay,
cool. So we've got 200,000 rows of data. That's pretty fun.
Yep.
We did it. I feel so proud. Okay, let's take a moment to reflect on our accomplishments. Now, I don't know. This was work though. Like we had to do work to get this in. Could I not have just like downloaded the whole data set and uploaded it as a file attachment or something?
There's that whole export thing, which is pretty nice. But in that, the UAR had to kind of page through it. So yeah, you could have tried to upload a file attachment. I downloaded this like a while ago. I think it's like 60 megabytes.
Okay.
The JSON's probably even bigger, so the CSV will be a little bit smaller.
So I could download it here if I'm working, or like if somebody on the stream is like wants to work in it in a different program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can totally just download it. You can upload it to Observable as a file attachment, which is actually a really great way to deal with it. And then you also have like a nice snapshot of it, so it won't change on you. Whereas this will actually get updated, which is kind of cool too, give or take, which is good and which is bad. But yeah, the 16 megs is too big for Observable right now. Yeah, so maximum file size 15 megabytes, which is a little bit arbitrary. We might up that, but who knows? We might up that. I don't know when we're gonna up that.
Yeah, but still, for like this big of a data set, probably pulling it in dynamically makes sense in this case.
Somewhat, yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's enough to play with.
Yeah.
And then you get more serious about it later on if like you get to somewhere that's interesting.
Okay, so we're done with this data processing part, data retrieval part, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm gonna unpin this cell so that it's not so distracting. And we don't need this either. Or this. I just love unpinning cells. I don't know why. It just looks so clean. Okay, so now we need to look at it.
Yeah.
Should we just see what one of these looks like?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like to do that too. And then
all right, and let's see what else. Oh, it's not so bad. Okay. So we've got the year, whether it's revenue or spending. So I think in this data set, and there are some docs on the SF site about this SF open book
what all this means,
data set. What does this all mean? I don't know which the main where we found this was all linked through the page.
I just pasted the most useful one to
Perfect.
me, which is like a glossary into chat. Also, there was a question: aren't team file attachment sizes larger than 15 megabytes? I think they're the same right now. I don't remember tweaking that. I could go look, but I'll look after this. So I think they're still 15 megabytes right now.
Okay.
But that is also what we, yeah, as far as a Teams feature, which is kind of working on a team for pay.
Well, we're in a team
We
notebook
might
right
have
now.
increased that.
So if it's telling me that the limit is 15,
Yeah.
like we're in a, so observable, Visnu and I are in the observable team, which is where we do a lot of our work, like to build observable in these private, it's like team private notebooks. So that's what we're in right now, which is why you can see that there's like, we've got this kind of multiplayer editing thing going. Visnu, are you in any of the cells? No, I don't see your little icon,
No.
but so I'm
I just
guessing
came
that
back
if
to
this says 15, that since this is a team notebook, that is also the limit for teams. So but yes, but even if, I mean, but so the point is, I guess that, you know, regardless of what the limit is, which there we need a limit for performance and whatnot, and storage, that you might run into data sets that are bigger than that. And so like, what do you do?
Yep.
Like, you know, it could be easy to export a smaller data set as a CSV and upload that and then just work with that snapshot. But for these bigger ones, you can use stuff like D3 fetch to pull it in and page through like we did. So
yeah. Entertainingly, you could also break it up into multiple files yourself and upload them as separate file attachments. And then
sure.
recombine them. But yeah, I'll
if
leave that
if you feel like.
to the reader.
Okie doke. So let's see. So now we're looking at what is in here.
Yep.
And
we have organization, department, program, which is like a hierarchical thing. And this is from the glossary that I linked in chat.
Right. Okay. So that glossary is in the chat there. On the openbook.sfgov.org site. Cool.
Yep. So at the highest level, there's organization. Then below that is a department, and then below that is a program. Here, program's operating, but I know in like earlier ones in like 2018 or so, at least, it's like. So for the example,
here, should we try some other ones? Let's see. Oh,
so
that's also operating.
Like org is public protection, department is police, and then program is patrol.
Okay, sorry. Wait for the last one, or now I changed it. My bad.
No,
I was just trying to see what some of these different programs are. Disaster recovery. That seems important.
Oh yeah, it does.
Sorry, should we go back to 0? Okay, let's go back to 0.
Social Security, enterprise fund.
There's a lot of these. So
yes.
Okay. So how would be an interesting way to look at this? And then we get these categories, and then ultimately
is the final number. Yeah.
That's the dollar signs. That's what makes our money mouth face go. Okay.
I just realized that the JSON did not help us here in any way because that's still a string. So oh well.
So we have
switch back to CSV, but oh well.
Well,
go ahead.
I'm sure we'll be able to make it work. We had a question. Precision Twitcher asks, the data is stored in the browser, like local storage?
So it's not local. Oh, when you upload, so a file attachment uploaded to our servers, and then we kind of give it back to you in a nice way. Similarly to kind of the fetch in it, like under the hood. But ultimately, like this fetch right here is in browser memory at any given time. You could use local storage if you wanted to yourself from notebooks to make things faster. If
you wanted to get fancy, but this is just in memory, so we'll see. Yeah. I guess depending on the size of your data set and the size of your browser's memory, those might be also limits. Yeah. Nothing is free. No free lunch. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's find out how much San Francisco spends on lunch, shall we? No, just kidding. So what would be an interesting way to break this down? It seems like revenue or spending is like a pretty fundamental categorization here. So maybe we should like look at this based on whether we're viewing revenue or spending.
Yeah, I'd also maybe just pick 1 year to begin with.
Yeah, okay, all right. So let's choose a year. How about 2021? Oh, that sounds like the distant future, but it's not, is it? Let's pick 2019. How about last year?
Sure.
Okay, so I'm just going to put that in here. We're going to so first, let's see. So we have data. Can I like filter it to get just that year?
Yep. Exactly.
Okay. So I'm going to do data.filter, where the filter function is going to be for each datum. Is that the word?
Yeah.
We want only if D dot, is it just, no, it's, is it year? No, it's fiscal year.
Yep.
Is
Which also, by the way, is interestingly from like July to July.
the fiscal year goes from July to July. Interesting.
For the city of San Francisco, yeah.
So right now, are we in the fiscal year for 2020 or 2021? Like, does it go from the previous July?
I'm looking. Let me see. What's it say? An accounting period of 12 months. The city and county of San Francisco operates on a fiscal year that begins July 1st and ends on June 30th the following year. The fiscal year ending is so let's see. June.
So it seems like it's delayed. So we are in 2020 now in August.
Yeah.
So this is fiscal year 2020, which extends until July 2021.
Sure. Yeah. I don't
know. I don't know. We'll find out. Oh, yep. There you go. I think that's how I'm reading it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So again,
anywho,
one's a string, one's a number, by the way. So I think we'll find out what happens here. We'll either get 0 or we'll get what we want.
All right. Well, let's find out. Yeah. Okay. So this is the types. Yep. 0. All right. So, should I just make this a string?
Or put that in string. I would just double equal. Leverage
double.
That.
Oh.
Leverage double equal.
Oh. Well, that's a lot.
People are scared of double equal, but if you understand double equal, you should totally use it.
Sure.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm just putting this here for posterity.
Yeah. It's not really great in a team environment, but in like a personal, I understand my code environment, I think it's yeah, you could use it.
Okie doke. So, now let's just make sure. So if I change this to 2018, okay, it does change. All right, cool. Reactivity. So this is where we're starting to have it's good that we're doing this in Observable because now we can just like quickly change the year here. And the data updates. I don't know if you can see these numbers updating, but here, I can open this. And then it's fun. Okay. Let me put it back, 2019. Huh. Remember when 2019 seemed like a bad year? Anyway, the next thing we want to do is what? Maybe separate
separate spending and budget, or sorry, revenue.
Yeah, spending and revenue. So what would we call this? Like spending type or something? No. Rev or spend. How about that?
Sure.
I don't know. Should we focus on spending? So revenue.
Let's just focus. Yeah, revenue is interesting because I didn't even think about how the city makes money.
Yeah, I know. I feel like we always think about what the city's spending money on, but like that money has to come from somewhere, right? So, okay, so maybe let's look at revenue instead. You know what I'm starting to want here is like, instead of having to retype this every time, is to have a nice little drop down. Can we make a little drop down?
Do the drop down. Yeah. While you're doing that, I'm going to sneakily switch us to CSV, by the way. You won't even notice. I think you won't even notice.
You're going to switch this to CSV sneakily because of the typing thing?
Yeah, because to me, the fetch will probably also be faster. It's going to update for you, and I think it'll be fine. Otherwise, we can revert.
Okay, but so I won't see... Oh.
You shouldn't notice anything, really. Kind of. Yeah, we're good. We're great.
Oh, so here now I see that you're so just folks following along at home. Since we're in this team notebook, you can see when your teammate is like in a cell, this little icon. It's Visnu's face here. Well, an artistic depiction thereof. And that is what tells me that Visnu is messing with this data code up here. All right. In the meantime, I can still be working on something else, right?
Yeah.
So while you're doing that, I am going to pull in, I just want some nice little toggles here. So I'm going to import a handy dandy widgety thing from this great notebook that our colleague Jeremy Ashkenaz, which I can spell, has this awesome notebook inputs, which is like a little kind of utility library of all these little drop downs and whatnot. And what this is going to give me, let me not worry about that one right now. I'm going to make this revenue or spend. I'm going to add a view of, because this is now going to be like a user input element. And I'm going to use this select function that I just imported and pass it an array of options. So revenue, spending. And if I did all of this right from memory, then I should get a little drop down. Yay. Okay, now I don't have to retype it and misspell it every time. So now I'm going to add to our filter here. How's the CSV refactor going before I move on?
Done. Your browser already loaded it and it was happy.
Amazing. I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
So let's see what the new code is. So we literally just changed the URL to .csv and changed .json to just CSV.
That's all.
That's all you did. Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. Okay, cool. So moving on. Should we now add this revenue or spending as part of our filter?
Yeah.
Okay, and now wait. So now I don't have to do this double equal, right?
You still need to do the double equal for year at least.
Okay.
If you want to switch a year to a select, then it'll be a string, and then you can do a triple equal.
Yeah, why don't we do that? Well, here, okay. Let's put the revenue in first, and then we'll do that. So revenue or spend. So I want to do like what is it called? Revenue or spending.
Yep.
Now I can triple equals this because they're strings. Equals rev or spend, whatever that value is. Okay, so now, that got cut down, which is what we want. Hello?
Yeah, just revenue.
So now we should only see revenue, and if I change this and everything works, then it should change to just the spending rows. Okay, cool. Yep. So now we have a nice little interactive little data filter. Yay! Yep. Yay! I know this is really simple, but I get excited about these little inputs. So now should we change year to a drop down thingy, or should we let's just continue going and then we can change the year later?
Yeah.
All right. So, cause the time is marching on. So how do we look at this now?
So first let's assign that to like a new, variable, like filtered equal that.
Okay. Filtered. So now I've named this cell so we can refer to it elsewhere like a variable. Okay.
Okay. So I don't know. Let's just look at, we want to break out Vega-Lite. Let's do that.
Sure. Yeah. Let's chart some stuff.
Yeah. So you're going to want the import VL. So similarly to the select from Josh Canal's inputs, we're going to want to import VL from @Vega/Vega-Lite-API.
Okay.
Again,
so now this one, as opposed to this D3 require here, where I'm requiring like a module from the interwebs, from NPM essentially. Yeah. This one, this is like an observable notebook that the Vega team has put out for our convenience. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So here, this is just like, this is nice and convenient because folks use Vega-Lite in Observable a lot. So we can import this fun little function from the, object.
You can click through and see what's actually happening there, because it's just a bunch of requires actually under the hood. If you were to go through and look at to see what that variable.
Let's go check out this Vega API notebook. Make this a little bigger for y'all. So so this is how we use it, and it's going to give us this object with all of these methods and stuff. Okay.
Yeah. So if you open that code cell.
Cool. Let me just drop this in chat for folks.
Oh yeah.
Boop. Just for future reference. All right. So, sorry, what should I open?
So if you open that cell, just to see what it actually is.
This one?
Like how it's defined under the hood.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's just a bunch of requires anyway.
Gotcha.
It's a bunch of requires and the initial configuration and they're pinned, which is kind of nice too.
Okay, so this is just nice so I don't have to do all that work.
Right.
Somebody else did it for me, which is great. I love not doing work. Okay, so now we've got Vega-Lite in our notebook.
Yep.
So we have that same object with all of these fun little methods. What do it Do.
Okay, so just bear with me. I'm just gonna rattle off some
Some
words now, and then
incantations.
we'll go.
Let's
We'll go
incant.
over it right
Let the
after.
seance begin.
So vl.mark. Let's do mark circle. I guess I always like to start with circles just because they're I don't know, round. Open close parenthesis.
Okay.
So we're gonna use circles. We're just gonna draw with circles basically, and then another maybe on the new line in there dot data and pass it filtered. And then just after that add dot render.
Like that?
Yep.
And run it?
So it's 23. Yeah,
running it.
Run it. So we got a nice degenerate
graph.
It
drew a circle.
So there's basically, that's actually 23,000 circles on top of each other.
Oh, wow.
Probably.
I feel like I'm looking into like looking along the axis of space-time or something. Don't mind me. Haven't had too much coffee yet.
So
this is not immediately a useful database. So what should we do?
So we need to encode some stuff. So again, the idea is you have your data. It has dimensions or like you think of them all as vectors in a sense. So like each individual snowflake of row of data has its own little properties on it, and then you want to take those and encode them to like things on the screen. So whether it be a shape, whether it be position X, Y, color. So there's a bunch of different encoding channels or encoding properties. And this again goes back to like, I think Bertin, I don't know how to pronounce the French man's name, semiology of graphics, I think is where a lot of this ends up coming from. And then there's an evolution of it since. But it's like the core of visualization is that. It's like where you take stuff about your data and encode it on the screen. So a line chart is basically you're encoding oftentimes X, like so time on the X axis and some value on the Y axis. So you're using position.
Okay. And it seems like there's some links. If I click through the links here, I can read more about like how that all works. It seems like, and a few different resources, which this one's been a little slow to load for me. I'm sure it has nothing to do with me having a million tabs open. Okay, cool. So let's encode. Yeah.
So let's encode. I don't know. What do you want on X? What do you want on Y?
So I'm thinking like, can we do? All right. So let's look at this data again. Can we do like the department, for example, and like see different departments for a given year?
Yeah. Actually, let's start at like organization group.
Organization group. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure. I'm still getting used to these terms. Yeah. Whatever the highest level one is, organization group. Okay. Yep. So this one, like culture and recreation or whatever.
Yep. So right after, between data and render there, add a .encode function call, and then we're gonna pass it some stuff. So inside of here, we're gonna say VL again, .x. So we're gonna encode something to the X channel, open close parenthesis. And then .field. Let's see, X is gonna be, let's just make it, so field N for nominal.
Field N like this. So these are like the different types of like ordinal, nominal, whatnot. This one is just categories. So nominal, is that right? Yeah. Okay.
And then let's have this be organization group. So the string organization group.
Can't spell type words with an underscore. Is it like that?
Yep.
That's why I'm asking you. Like I can't scroll up 10 lines. Organization underscore group. Okay, cool.
Yep. And then go ahead and close the encode parenthesis here, and then run that again. And now we should see slightly something different.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Now we have more sections and the dots. Should we? Would it be better if we encode this like vertically?
Yeah. So just switch X to Y.
Well, that seems too easy to be true.
Sweet.
Haha. Okay, cool. Now, could we make these like, instead of these dots, which are just like, I exist, I'm an organization group. Can we make them like bars?
Well, let's do that last. So first, let's just do X. Let's encode something on X.
So I need a new
tie will be a little bit more better. So yeah, comma inside that encode. So encode takes multiple parameters, and you can just build them up. So vl.x, and then dot. Let's do. So we're gonna sum budget. So we would just say dot sum, open close parentheses budget.
That's all I need to do. It just makes a field auto magically.
Yeah. So this is aggregating actually across budget. Actually, before doing that, let's do dot field q budget for funsies.
Okay,
To
field
more
Q,
understand
like this?
Yeah. So this is going to be somewhat like a scatter plot, maybe more like a strip plot is maybe the name. So this is 23,000 lines of data in there. There's a negative in there. That's interesting. So of the 23,000 lines, it's basically taken all of it and grouped it into the organizations on the left. And then for each row in there, it's drawn a dot at whatever the budget is. So these are like multiple lines of things for each organization.
And this is like each of those things is maybe going to be like a different line item in the budget. Is that?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So I guess, so what can we learn from looking at this? I feel like my intuition is telling me, again, as a person who is not super well versed in this stuff, my intuition is telling me that this gives us a little bit of information. It kind of gives us a sense of like the spread of the difference in programs and their size. So like community health, like there's something, I don't know what this is, but it's way bigger than like most of their stuff, right? And same with general city responsibilities, which what a great organizational title. I think we had some questions in the chat. Carrots and Pizza asks, some categories are truncated. How to reset the truncation limit? Do you mean like in the, I'm guessing this refers to like in the display here, just because we have some long titles?
Yep. There's a config setting for that. I don't remember what it is offhand.
But somewhere in the Vega-Lite docs, you'd be able to see where to,
in the Vega-Lite docs,
where to set the like axis labels or.
Yeah, that's the axis labels. It's like what the minimum extent is, I think, for that area. But it's somewhere in the configuration. It's changeable.
Gotcha.
I don't remember what it is off the top of my head though.
Cool.
And this is again kind of going to why Vega-Lite in the first place, is that like thinking about writing this in D3 or thinking about writing this in some other things, and where like we switch X to Y or Y to X and like trying out different fields, to me is like super rapid. Like we can try out, like we can switch organization group to what was it, program, and then just see what it is without having to like recode a bunch of stuff. And it's where Vega-Lite has chosen to go ahead and make those strings truncated for now. And it's kind of fine.
Okay, so I just changed it to okay, we got some character nonsense, but yeah, close enough. Or like, I think department is another one.
Department is, yeah.
This is interesting. Operating is all, whoa, okay.
Yeah, all right,
should we go back to the organizational?
Let's go back to organization.
Crap, what was it? Organization
group. Organization underscore group.
Thanks.
Dot plot, maybe it's called dot plot. Entertainingly, there's names for all of these things you end up making, and you stumble upon them by yourself, and you're like, wow, I found something new, and then you realize someone's named it before.
The miracles of language. Okay. So just because I'm like we're moving, I think we're gonna stream till about 11, so that means we got 10 minutes to like learn as much as we can about these dots and what's going on with them. You suggested earlier like summing all of these up so we get a sense of like the total budget for each organization. Is that right?
Field Q, just switch to sum.
Again, this all just feels so easy when I just switch out these method names. Like this is Vega-Lite is really nice for this. Okay, look, now we got some
sum. So now this hopefully will, so this is circles.
Negative.
And now if you want, you can switch it. Yeah, so like, this is again, learning about our data. There's something negative going on.
Interesting, but I thought this was supposed to be revenue. Spending? So like, isn't negative revenue spent? I don't know. Okay, we'll have to figure it out.
Negative spending is, I don't know what that is. So change mark circle to mark bar.
Ooh.
And then the relationship between like how marks and encodings might kind of get built home in your head a little bit. So like.
Okay, so now instead of like starting from 0 and then drawing a dot at whatever the appropriate X value is, it's it's like filling that whole region in with a bar.
Yep.
Amazing.
And then if you want, like, change it to like marked line. And then you can maybe, and then before running it, like picture in your head what you think it might draw, and then
Okay, everybody picture. We're going to close our eyes and picture. Everybody picturing it. You got it? You got it? Okay. Oh, I was not picturing that. I don't know what I was picturing
really?
it like, I guess I was just picturing it more, I don't know. I had the axes
Well,
wrong.
actually, go from here to circle again, and then see if it makes sense.
I guess I'm just so used to seeing line charts drawn on the other. Yeah, no, it totally makes sense.
Okay.
I guess I'm, you're used to seeing the
Oh, you
line
wanted
chart
it to
go like
be,
along the,
yeah, rotated.
yeah, on the other axis. So I think that's just what my brain was doing. Okay, but what we want is probably bar, right? That's easiest to see for me, for everybody else.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Let's let's sort. So right now you'll notice the y-axis is sorted by alphabetically, which is nice for like lookup for a human. Like if it's like, oh, public protection, where is it? You can find it. Which is a good default again. But if we care about like big to small, we can throw a sort on that right after organization group. I'm like pointing to my screen like you like to see. Dot sort.
Like this?
So there's a nice shorthand here, and you can just pass it the string X.
String X.
Yep. So this is like sorting it by the X encoding channel is what that's saying.
Interesting. Okay. And Vega-Lite just knows how to interpret that string as like an encoding channel.
Yeah.
That's just how sort works. Okay. Let's try.
So that's one way sort works.
Okay. All right. Look at this.
And if you want it the other direction, you say minus X.
In the string?
So the string, yeah, in the string.
Well, that's handy.
Really
there we go. Okay, nice. So now we can see that the biggest budget, which somewhere over $4, is that right? Can this be right? $4 billion?
Yeah. So this is also where I was like trying to figure out how to quantify these numbers for myself. Like 4 billion is, it's a large number, right?
That's a large number.
Think about it.
I couldn't even, I'm like, this is so many zeros. My brain's not even processing.
Right. I kind of want this in like per capita.
Yeah. I think that might be a little out of scope for our.
I don't think it is.
Oh. Okay. All right. Let's do it. Sorry. Meanwhile, but if we can just pause before we do that, Blue In has a question. Do we have to repeat if we want to connect circles with lines?
Specifically for line, we do not, because it has so if you switch back to marked line for funsies, which is going to be a boring line now, but
maybe it's going to be a very graceful line. You don't know.
It's a graceful line.
Now it looks like the budget is just increasing. This is an easy to misread chart now.
You can pass it. Like right now it's open close parenthesis right there. You can pass it an options hash or an options object. And then I think it takes points : true is one quick way to throw points on a line. Maybe it's point true.
Did it do it?
Point singular maybe.
Point true. Haha, there we go.
Yeah.
Nice.
So this is a quick way to throw circles on a line if you happen to just want that. But yes, so if you're gonna like get fancier and you want more control over the circles, the color, the shape, or the size of them, you'll want to layer. So you can do like Vega-Lite has the concept of kind of layering all these on top of each other, and you would do mark point along with mark line.
So I could like mark the lines first, and then like mark like big circles over them or something if I wanted to.
Yeah, or cool. Like you could, yeah.
Cool. Okay, so let me let me undo this here. Put our bars back. Just Control-Cing. Okay. There we go. So you want to see this per capita?
Yeah.
And you think that's gonna be easy?
So we just need to.
I believe in you.
A denominator. We just need a denominator, which is population San Francisco. So we need to look for that.
Oh,
somewhere.
okay.
Just
do you know it off the top of your head? I don't. Population of
800,000-ish.
Let's see what DuckDuckGo says. I don't know. What did you say?
Million. It's like 800,000. I think it's 800,000.
800,000. Okay, close enough.
10,000.
Let's see. Wikipedia says 881,000.5.
As of 2019. Great. We happen to be in 2019.
We happen to be in 2019. It's all coming together. So you want to do the sum of...
throw population in a cell somewhere, so
Okay.
we have it.
Population. What was it? 881.5, something like that. Oh, I don't know why I put a comma there.
Like that.
Because I'm thinking in human numbers and not computer numbers.
Yeah. We don't have to be exact. It's around there.
Okay.
So in that filtered thing is where I was going to take advantage of it. I was just going to map and then add a per capita number in.
So filtered map.
Yeah, we can do it right there. I was going to do it up in, I would say do it up in where we define filtered.
Okay, cool. So here we've got the data.filter. I'm going to take our little note out. I think we'll remember. And we're going to do .map. I can do it like this, right?
Yep.
D goes to arrow. Okay,
And then arrow. So you want like a parenthesis bracket. So we're just going to return, because we want to return an object.
Yeah.
That's going to get confused with arrow notation. So just parenthesis bracket.
Right. Good call.
Say return inside of it. And then I'll just do .d for now.
And make sure that we just get the same thing.
Yep.
Okay, nothing
That's
changed.
exactly
I pressed Shift Enter and nothing changed. So that's good. So then
here, comma, per capita, colon. Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yep. D dot budget divided by population.
Alrighty.
And then maybe look at that array up there. So again, no change because we're not even using that yet. But yeah, check here and see if budget has, we get
Per capita budget, 0. Okay, well, that's not a very exciting
0.
one. Let's see if we can find a non-zero. Negative something, something, something. Okay.
Yeah. It's probably right.
All right. Cool. Now we've got per capita
so now
budgets.
We just need to switch sum of budget to sum of per capita. Double checking, everything is divided
sum
by,
of budget to sum of per capita budget.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
That makes mathematical sense, right?
I think so. I mean, just the numbers are smaller.
Yeah.
It seems like everything is still pretty much looks the same. But yeah, the numbers are a little easier to think about, for sure.
Per person in San Francisco. So it's like $4,000. So and you could think of if all the money of this budget came from taxes, 4,000 of it, you're kind of giving $4,000 to $5,000 to transportation every year per person.
Okay. I feel pretty good about that. I like transportation. Transportation seems important. I don't know if there's I'm sure there are ways that it could be less expensive, but whatever. That's a problem for another day. Community health sounds good. I mean, I don't know what is under that bucket. I hope it is as good as it sounds. Yeah. Public protection. Well, now we can start talking. That's another stream. So anyway, so we've got now the per capita budget, and this is in terms of revenue, though. Wait, no, this is spending.
This is spending. Yeah, this is all spending.
Should we see what revenue looks like?
What happens. Yeah, I have no idea what this means.
General city responsibilities apparently makes a bunch of money, which kind of makes sense because that was the negative one on the spending. So I wonder if that's if somehow spending mirrors revenue, if they're kind of both accounting for both. I don't know.
Can we do the whole all thing where we don't filter on revenue or spending so that we just go ahead and sum everything budget wise? So it's kind of like profit almost per department or group.
Sorry, I didn't follow. You want me to take out the filter by revenue or spending? And just
Yeah.
Okay. Let me just do that. Does that work?
Yeah, I can do it.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, that's interesting.
Huh. So now it looks sort of like the spending.
Yeah. Well, it looks like spending, but there's not the huge negative on the general city responsibilities.
Yeah.
So it just makes me wonder what the hell general city responsibilities is and what.
I know it's such a mysterious.
Revenue.
Sorry, what? I talked over you. Sorry.
Yeah, basically there's some weird accounting thing where I feel like general city responsibilities is taking in all the money and then giving it to all the other departments in a sense.
I mean, that sounds very plausible. I guess we'd have to read more in these docs from the controller's office of like, what is this data and how does spending and revenue work? A department's programs and how much money is spent on each and whatnot. So it seems like reading through, like to really understand and to not misinterpret this data, like we really need to like get a better understanding of how the city works, really, I think, is what I'm learning.
Don't take any of this to heart. We have no idea what we're doing.
No. We're exploring data exploration, but like we're poking around, but we're starting, for me anyway, this is like, I've never really even thought about how the city breaks down its divisions and like it's different. I just don't know that much about my municipal government, which, you know, is a failure on my part as a citizen. But this is like one way to like find out a little bit more, or at least find out some of the questions I might want to ask my city, or like ask, you know, people that know more than me. Like before digging into this, I probably wouldn't even know to think about like, well, how is the city redistributing? It's like, is it taking them all into one organization and then funneling everything through that, or does every organization kind of like earn and spend its money separately? And I think it seems like we're starting to get the sense that there might be like a centralization sort of thing here. But in any case, these are like questions I would know to ask now the next time I'm at some kind of city hall, whatever, town hall thingy that I totally go to because I'm an engaged citizen. Anyway.
11. What do you want to do?
So what should we do? We are like 2 minutes over 11. So this was like as far as we went. Maybe we could just maybe we could add that year drop down and then call it a day. What do you think?
Yeah, sure.
So that folks can see how this changes over time. I mean, ultimately, it would be nice to make a graph of like how this compares over time. But the first step would be being able to page through these. So let me so how do we get all of the years that are in this data? So what I want to do is like view of year, select, and then some array with these different thingies, but I'd ideally not have to like go through and manually type out. I'd like it to be like dynamically pulling from the data what years are available.
Yep.
So how could we do this?
So
Maybe.
So you could run that right now.
Oh, sorry. What?
Oh, I was okay.
Oh, like one of these. Yeah. So like I could add manually like.
Yeah. Yep.
There we go.
You could do that, which, as you're saying, is.
And now if I change it to 2020, there it goes. So now. Basically the same configuration, but slightly different numbers. Oh, some of the departments like changed around. And if we wanted to get really fancy, we could like redo this in D3 and add animated transitions and blah blah blah. Can Vega-Lite do that kind of stuff, like animations and?
I'm gonna say no.
It's not really what it's intended for, right? Like D3 is like great at doing the fancy but Vega-Lite is like we just drew a chart in like no time flat.
So again, like the level abstraction thing, it's D3, Vega, and Vega-Lite. Vega can actually do that. Vega-Lite, I'm pretty sure cannot.
But that's what makes it light.
Interaction of at least like you can use your finger or your mouse to like interact with the thing. But I'm pretty sure it can't do animation or transition.
Gotcha.
If I'm wrong, please correct me, somebody in chat.
In any case,
back to getting all these years out.
So I kind of want to do like so often one thing I reach for when I'm trying to like get all the unique values is I just like throw everything into a set.
Yep.
So could we do something like data map? Like this is, I don't know if this is probably not efficient to map through this huge thing, but whatever. If we do like fiscal year, if we just get an array of all the fiscal years and then we like throw that into a new set. And then can I pass a set to select? I don't think so, but let's find out.
I don't know if so set's iterable.
No, it didn't work. But so and now I can do like array from or something. Is there a better way to do that?
A question in chat. No. Well, there's array from. Depending on your preference, sometimes I do like a straight bracket ...
Okay.
So that's a little
because
weird.
It's iterable, yeah. Does that work with the?
It's iterable. I don't actually know if there's a performance implication there.
I don't either.
People should really care. It's also maybe a little like this is useful for like concatenating, or if you had multiple arrays of things or multiple iterables that you wanted to kind of
Gotcha.
unsplat into the thing. Array from is probably more clear, honestly. So
Gotcha.
it's a
Gotcha.
little
Gotcha.
up to personal preference. So we have a question in chat. Can you make a chart with Vega-Lite but control it from D3? I've always wondered. You can control stuff. It gets into like you're switching into advanced mode a bit. But with both Vega-Lite API and Vega Embed and some other things that you can do Vega-Lite stuff with, you get the underlying Vega view. So you can definitely control it and modify stuff. And you can kind of do different things between cells or other, like, so my broad answer is yes, but like, of course, with you're gonna have to code a bunch. Hi, Loki. You can come in, Loki.
Guest star.
Never
Guest
mind.
star on the stream. No.
Oh,
Oh, yay!
yeah, well,
It's Loki, sort of, in the background. Hi, Loki. Okay, cool. So we've got this. Year drop down now. Sorry, while you were being really helpful to folks in chat, I was just goofing around and switching and looking at these different years. I kind of feel like I should put back the revenue or spending thing, and now I realize what you were talking about. We should add like an all category that does both.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, what did I do? Oh, too many parentheses.
Yeah.
Everything broke. Okay, so let me add revenue, spending, all, and then let me just check if rev or spend is all. Then we want to just, so this is in an and clause of the filter, and if it's all, I just want to return true for that filter. And otherwise, I want to return whatever the value of this is. I think that should work.
Yep.
Let's find out. So now, this is revenue. This is spending. Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, no, it sort of froze on me here.
Maybe you want some parentheses?
No, oh, there it goes. It was just slow. Did it change the chart?
I think so.
And otherwise all. It's just, I don't know why that's slow. That's interesting. We'll have to think about that. Some kind of little... I'm watching for the changes. I don't know what's going on with that. Maybe that was a bad idea. Oh, there it goes.
Right.
It's just really slow. Interesting.
185. I guess once you go to, wait, 185,000.
It's a fair number.
Right? 185,000 for 1 year. I think something's weird. Could you surround the whole thing in a parentheses inside the filter? I'm a little worried about order of operations.
Yeah, something weird happened. I think you're right. Oh yeah, no, you know what? I think it did this. So I want to do this and this. Let me add a bunch of parentheses. So if this is true, if that's the case, then we want to return just everything, and otherwise, then we want to return whatever the value of that is. D is not oh, geez, Louise. Why is D not defined?
That's too many parentheses.
Too many parentheses.
The on the left, right after year.
Oh, oops.
So go on the right of year. Yeah.
Unexpected, and now I have too few.
And then, no, yep.
Oh, programming. Why are you like this?
Yeah,
okay, there we go.
10,000 seems more correct.
That looks better. Yeah, I needed those parentheses. Thank you. Good catch. Good catch.
13,000. Okay.
Did it update? It's still being pretty slow. I don't know.
Switch it out right now.
It's frozen. Oh, there we go. There it goes.
Okay.
I didn't notice if the chart updated.
And then spending should have a huge negative. Something still may be weird, because I remember spending having a huge negative, right?
That we were in 2012 just then, so let me change to okay, here. Sorry, yeah. So now we can see the difference again.
Oh, wow.
And let's
So
try
now I'm
all.
confused about 2019. What happened in 2019?
Yeah, what happened in 2019? I don't know. These are the questions now.
2018.
Okay, so how do you feel? Visnu, do we feel accomplished? I feel pretty accomplished.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know that we know anything more, but we know like some of the things that we could know more, if you know what I
Right.
mean.
We're ready
No.
to really dive in.
I mean, I feel like we'd need like an accountant or something here with us to be telling us how this works, like a city, what are they called? A city administrator who does accounting.
Yeah.
Controller.
Like
Yeah.
before writing a public thought piece on the actual budget, yes, I would definitely.
Oh, definitely. No, this
that.
is not, we're not doing journalism here. We're not like, there are no takeaways. Other than hopefully that this is doable. Okay, so we found the open data on the data SF, the city data portal, data.sfgov.org. The link was in the chat earlier, and we'll share this notebook which has links to all these resources and everything. But so like we found this data on the interwebs. We grabbed Vega-Lite. We grabbed D3 fetch. We pulled in like hundreds of thousands of rows of data using our little D3 fetch loop here. And then we were able to like throw it into a chart with just, a few 4 lines of code here. Like that's pretty cool. And we made these little interactive drop downs so that we can like easily decide here. And you know what? I'm going to move these closer to the chart so that it's easier to see. And we could even add some little we could add labels or whatever. I'm not going to bother right now. But anyway, we've got now like a little interactive chart, and we, did this in an hour or whatever. And even more slowly because we were chatting with folks and whatnot. I feel good about it. How about you?
Yeah. I want to play more, but don't have time to play more.
Yeah. Well, so we'll share this notebook so folks can also have a play and have a look around themselves. In fact, I can just publish this live right now. How about that?
Sure.
Woohoo! Okay, so publish this. We'll share the link here with y'all. And yay, some folks learned things. Woohoo! Oh, thanks, Carrots and Pizza. Thanks, Blue In. Thank you so much, everybody who joined us on this very experimental stream. We're going to be doing this more, so buckle up. Next week, we're going to have a stream for you on Tuesday, all about D3. So look forward to that. Follow our channel and follow us, Observable HQ, on Twitter, too. We'll be announcing things there as well. And we're going to have more of these going on with, like, hopefully a bunch of folks from our team, because, like, there's so many interesting things we could explore, so many different folks. But thank you so much, Visnu, for coming on and doing this with me. It's been a really fun adventure. And thank you, Loki, for jumping in at the end. Please, everybody, save the date. Next Tuesday, we'll have a new stream. And also, we're going to have a community meetup coming up, also about D3 this month, at the end of the month on August 27th. I believe it's at 11 a.m. Pacific. In any case, we'll be announcing more details about that. Again, follow our Twitter, Observable HQ, to find out more about that. And Visnu, how can folks reach out to you if they want to chat or whatnot? Is Twitter good?
I guess Twitter's pretty good. Yeah, Twitter, Visnup. VISNUP on
Visnup.
Twitter.
Nice. Okay. And I'm Anjana Vakil. And we're also on Observable. You can see you can find our profiles on Observable. Also Visnu P, and I think mine is just Anjana. If you want to see some of our other notebooks. And also don't forget, we're going to be as we do these streams, we're going to be publishing the recordings to our YouTube channel, Observable HQ on YouTube. We've also got some other videos on there. You can check out like past meetups, which include some really cool talks on Visnu gave a great introduction to Vega-Lite. So if you want to see more of a walkthrough that gets into a little bit more nitty-gritty about Vega-Lite, check out our Observable HQ YouTube channel. And we also have some videos up there about learning how to use Observable that I've done. So if you haven't used it, a ton. You can check out those videos. Hopefully they help out. And if you have any questions, hop on over to our forums, talk.observablehq.com, I think, right?
Yeah.
Sounds right.
And also, like, shout out. So Luke, who's in chat, I think actually yesterday just gave a meetup introduction to Vega-Lite in Zurich.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. Very cool. Yeah. Luke, oh yeah, hi. Thank you so much for doing more intros to Vega-Lite and whatnot. It's, always great to see folks using stuff in the real world and teaching each other. I think is the most exciting thing for me, seeing everybody giving workshops and doing doing streams and whatnot. I know our new team member Ian Johnson has a stream where they've also been doing some cool stuff. It's Enjalot, ENJALOT, I think, is the handle to follow on Twitter. And we've also seen, so Shirley Wu has also been doing some cool observable streams, yeah?
Yep. I'll share these in chat.
Thanks. Yeah, I always forget how Shirley's handle is. It's that. There we go. So yeah, so lots of content coming at you.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I might actually do my own also.
We'll
see if I have enough. You can follow me at least. So if I actually do, then you'll see something.
Yay! Excellent. So lots of folks to follow. And we hope to see you all around a lot more on Twitch. We're gonna be hanging out here quite frequently, so stay tuned. Keep an eye on our schedule. And yeah, can't wait to see you all at the meetup too at the end of the month, August 27th. Save the date. All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for joining. Thank you all for coding along with us. This is great. So much fun. And we shall see you next time. Bye, y'all.